We've got a huge game to look forward to this Sunday. Premier League leaders Arsenal travel to defending champions Manchester City in what could be a season-defining game. We're joined by a supporter from each side. So in the red corner, we've got Sophie Nicolau representing Arsenal. In the blue corner, we've got Manchester City fan Big Steve. And we thought we'd throw a Liverpool fan into the mix as well. They're firmly in the title race too, of course. So in the other red corner, it's Neil Atkinson. Good morning to all of you. Steve and Neil, by the way, I'm just going to warn you, I've seen Sophie argue with many people. One, I've never seen her lose. Two, I've only ever seen her annihilate her opponent. So good luck to both of you. Right, Sophie and Steve, your game first, right? Sophie, we'll start with this one on Super Sunday. For you, for Arsenal, is this the classic must-not lose?
Hi to Neil and Steve. Thanks for having me, Tom. Absolutely, it's the must not lose. We haven't won at City since 2015, but this is a different season for the Arsenal, and we've shown that we can overcome adversity. The big question about the Gunners is, are we going to be able to overcome adversity or handle the spotlight when it's on us now and in April? We failed to do that in the Champions League season where Tottenham beat us to that spot. We didn't do well last season. We should have won the league and didn't. But for me, where Arsenal win and lose is the mental capacity. How can we handle adversity, the spotlight? Do we like being the hunted versus the hunter? And, you know, I think this is a massive game for Mikel Arteta to prove it. We're unbeaten in 8. We've scored 70 goals this season. Our goal difference is superior. Our second ball, we're the best team in Europe, I think, at winning second ball. So there's these incremental improvements that have happened over the last 2 seasons. But for us, it's a must-win game. I don't think it's a disaster if it's a draw, but we certainly can't lose against a Manchester City team that's been absolutely dominant over the last few years.
And Steve, given that you're at home, is must not lose, is that the wrong thing to say to you?
Well, we definitely don't want to lose. We are behind at the minute. I think a few people will agree that this season we've not been playing as well as previous seasons. Arsenal are coming into this game as the form team. They've definitely got the tails up from last season. They seem to be peaking at the right time. The fans seem to be getting the momentum going, and they're definitely looking in good shape going into this game. But the Etihad Stadium in these last 10 games is a fortress, you know what I mean? We know what we need to do there. Pep Guardiola knows how to get this Manchester City team firing in this business end of the season. So I'm expecting a really good game. I'm so looking forward to the game. And I just feel that Manchester City haven't shown the full hand this season. I think we've got another couple of gears left in us, and I hope that Pep saved that to this run-in now. And I feel that if we can beat Arsenal on Sunday, I think it sends a warning out to the rivals that Manchester City of old is back. And I feel like Arsenal have the opportunity to do the same. I feel after last season, a lot of people said that they bottled it near the end. I feel if Arsenal can come to the Etihad Sunday and win, I think a lot of people, including myself, would take a step back and think, hold on a minute, this Arsenal team might actually go and do this now. And
Neil, what's best for Liverpool then?
The referee wins, an 18-man brawl, red cards, maybe bringing the game into disrepute, a points reduction. That sort of thing. That's what I'm looking for from it. Listen, there's no ideal outcome, but what that also means is there's no bad outcome. And I think that's worth saying from a Liverpool point of view, but we've got to take care of our business first. The first game, and for me, obviously the most important game, is the one against Brighton. If we can win that, we go 3 clear of Arsenal and 4 clear of City before they've kicked a ball. And that puts massive pressure on, I think, on both sides. And if we can, I'd like us to be ahead by the end of this weekend. We've then got a difficult game coming up the following weekend against United away. There's a Sheffield United game in the middle there that we will be expected to win without being complacent about it. But in the past, when we've gone toe-to-toe with City and it's been tight, we've never had the lead. And at the minute, we've got the lead. That's what the result at Anfield did. So if we could also get the lead over Arsenal, that'd be no bad thing. But listen, if Arsenal win, and you know, we go then toe-to-toe with Arsenal for the rest of the season, and it's just going to be really, really exciting. But yeah, ultimately, I'm on the favour of red and yellow cards, especially for Declan Rice and Rodri. If we could sort that out, that'd be great.
Neil, is there, when it comes to Arsenal and Manchester City, is there one of those two clubs that you fear more?
I mean, City have won the title 4 times on the spin, but then the flip side of it is that, you know, I thought Arsenal, when we've played them this season, on the whole, have been very, very good indeed. There's been patches in games when we played them when I think they've gone a bit west. I thought they were really poor for half an hour after half-time at Anfield, but then we've been dreadful for the first half an hours in both times we've gone to the Emirates this season, because that's what games at this level do. You know, your sides find themselves being pulled this way and that, and you've got to remember that hopefully your time will come in these sorts of matches. But the big thing is, as we sit here, you know, we've played Arsenal twice and we've played City twice, and whilst we haven't beaten either of them, we sit here with the equal highest number of points over the course of the campaign. They've still got to play each other. That is ever so slightly to our advantage. But there's other sides who've got a role to play in this. We've all got to play Brighton. We've all got to play Villa. We've all got to play Spurs. And these are good teams, and they'll take some beating as well. So, you know, for me, nothing's decided this weekend. What we might have more of a sense of, from a Liverpool point of view, hopefully, if we get a result against a really good Brighton side, hopefully we might have a sense of who it is going to be our main rival. But even then, someone could come with a run.
Ahead of the game at the Etihad, there's injury problems for Manchester City and for Arsenal, isn't there, Steve? How concerned are you about the doubts that Manchester City have?
Honestly, these people's injury problems pale into insignificance to what we've had for 4 or 5 months here. Honestly, you give me the list of their injury problems, and I go, that looks lovely. I wish we had those injury problems. But anyway, go on. And also, all those injury problems are lies. They're all going to be fine. They're all going to be fine for this game. Kevin De Bruyne's going to look absolutely fit as a fiddle.
What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, Kevin's fit. I think Kevin's fit anyway. I think Kevin's fit anyway. He stayed behind. I think Grealish is in contention. There's a couple of niggles, I think. I think Kyle Walker coming off and Stones coming off. I think they'll be assessed today. But, I mean, you know, there's a lot of people saying, you know, are these players just, you know, are they resting up for the game? You don't know, do you? You know what I mean? It's an important game. I wouldn't be surprised, put it that way, if a lot of them players make a miraculous recovery for Sunday.
Yeah, and Sophie...
Three of those City players and all 3 of those Arsenal players start.
Tom, can I just jump in terms of, for Arsenal, I think what's important here, because I could just picture the narrative. If City's players like Stones and Walker don't play and they are injured, and we win, it will be like, oh, but these players weren't playing. Arsenal fans want to play the best City team. At this point in the season, you've got to play the best and you've got to beat the best. And I think for the first time in a long time, we have less of that fear going into this match. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to win, but we go into it with confidence. We've already beaten Liverpool this season. We've already beaten Manchester City this season. We got a draw at Anfield. A draw at the Etihad will be a fine result for us too. There's still a long way to go in this season. But Arsenal will be damned if they do, and they're damned if they don't. If they win with injured players, it'll be looked upon a certain way, and vice versa. So for us, and for me in particular, I'm really excited about this game. I'm really looking forward to it, because I feel that with the addition of Declan Rice, the maturity of players like Jorginho and Havertz, who have been there in high-pressure situations, the backbone to this Arsenal team is a lot different than it was last season. And we're going to the Etihad with Saliba at the back and not Rob Holding. So for me, Arsenal players are playing with confidence. And the difference is, from last season, I truly think they believe they can win this season. And the addition of those players has made a massive difference to the team and how they approach games. And you're seeing it in the results. We're playing also some of the nicest football in Europe, as well as getting the best results in Europe right now.
You've all mentioned the kind of fixtures still to come and who you've still got to play. And there's a few clubs that all 3 of your clubs have still got to play. If we get the fixtures up on the screen now, because we've been asking the viewers today who they think have got the hardest running or the kindest running, what have you. Let's start with Pep Guardiola there and you, Big Steve, with Manchester City, Liverpool and Arsenal. Who do you think has got the kindest running on paper, of course?
I mean, they're all pretty much similar, you know what I mean? If you look at the games, Tottenham away is not easy. You know, I honestly believe, well, the last few seasons, these title run-ins, it's the games you don't expect, the ones that throw a spanner in the works. You know, you go into a game a little bit complacent, and all of a sudden you find yourself down. You're having to chase the game. You may be getting a draw when you should get a win. I don't believe the Manchester City-Arsenal game at weekend will decide the title. I believe that you've got to stay focused throughout the running. I remember going to West Ham, being 2-0 down at half-time, second to last game of the season, 2-2, and then going to play Villa last game, and I'm thinking we'll win against Villa and we win the title, and finding ourselves behind and having to come late at the death. So if anyone thinks it's going to be plain sailing and they can predict them fixtures, I think you're wrong. I think there's going to be a lot more twists and turns in this title race, and I think it's going to get nervy for all three of us, I think.
I agree with Steve there. We have two London derbies, and one of them being a North London derby as well, away. And that's not going to be easy. We've got to play a bogey team like Brighton away, and Aston Villa, who we lost to earlier on this season. Emery comes back to the Emirates. So I don't think there's an easy game. It sounds like a cliche, but the run-in is going to be tough. This is where we've dreamed of being as Arsenal fans. I'm relishing it. I'm excited for it. And I think that the three-horse race, you know, we've often been given the tab of bottlers, right? Well, here we are, you know, in a position against two of the greatest managers that the Premier League has ever seen. Mikel Arteta has gotten the club to this point. He's gotten the team to this point. He's built a team in his image, much like Klopp and Pep have done with their sides too. So, you know, for us, we're in an amazing position. The goal difference could be massive. Can you imagine the Premier League being decided on goal difference? That would be insane. I don't even remember the last time, or if that has ever happened.
It was the Aguero moment.
You will remember.
Yeah, Steve will remember.
Steve will remember.
Sorry, Steve.
We've got to go to Old Trafford and we've got to go to Goodison. So we've got to deal with the City of Manchester, because Manchester United would much rather Manchester City won the league than us. And we've also got a situation where Everton would give organs to stop us from winning the title. So that's going to be making it exceptionally difficult as we go through. Goodison's a different thing for Liverpool as it is for Arsenal and Manchester City, and that's fine. That's the cost of doing business in amongst it all. After this weekend, I think the three run-ins are all, you know, they're all very nip and tuck. They're all about the same. I don't think anyone's better. But that's why it's so important Liverpool win this weekend. The focus is rightly and understandably going to be on that second game. But in terms of back-to-back games, you know, from Liverpool's point of view, they've absolutely got to do the business against Brighton. It's no excuse football there, because that's the thing that will create a degree of a buffer. You know, I'm unbelievably excited about it. I'm not nervous about it in the slightest. I can't wait until we're in the teeth of it all, because ultimately it's what you're in it for. And this is a Liverpool side who can attack brilliantly. I'd like the goalkeeper back soon. Not to say that Kelleher hasn't been brilliant, but I'd like the goalkeeper back soon as well, because I think he's the absolute business. But this is what we're all in it for. Nothing else makes any sense. You know, and I think if people feel as though it's the hope that kills you, last season supporting Liverpool, it was the being rubbish that killed us. I'm banging to the fact that we played some of the best football in the country this season, and I'm banging to the fact that we've got 10 games to do it. Get Sunday out the way, it's the big 9, and then from there we can see where we end up. And I really fancy that Liverpool can certainly win the 5 home games, and a lot of it will come down to what happens on the road. And I think that's the case for both of these sides. The home records for both are excellent.
Neil, Steve, Sophie, pleasure to have the three of you on this morning, and good luck to all three of you. I only ask I'm invited to any title celebrations that one of your clubs get. Thank you.
Thank you.
Get your ticket to London.